Good evening, guys. Ken of Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for January 31st, 2023. Start with the swing trades. So Alcoa gets added to the swing trade group. It was a core and turbo. Well, it started off as a turbo trade that grew into a swing. And so our entry on that is from the PSAR flip at about 50.90. I'm using for position sizing the belly of the dragon. It closed really, really well. And we have a nice run to the 5-day high, which is the peak of the RL10 and the peak of the dragon, both of which would be really nice moves. So, welcoming Alcoa to the team. Cliff Natural Resources, we exited yesterday on the PSAR flip. Saw this move, but I was already in Alcoa, so we have no trade in Cliff. I'm leaving it on the in the portfolio for stalking. CVS was a Godzilla that we got well started on this. This was the SSC. We didn't take that one. The next day gapped up and started to go, so we took it here. Exited yesterday on the PSAR flip amid general weakness. It sold off a little bit, and then today gave us a Kata 2 style entry. I'm using a wider stop than you might expect. If you were using a strict Kata 2, you might have your stop here. But I liked the standard risk box from the previous trade, so I thought for consistency, I would just keep that in place for standard position size. Devon Energy, we closed the short swing, so we had been long and cashed 2 days ago. Yesterday initiated the short on the gap down and collapse. Today it opened and started to recover. I took the exit right at the edge of the dragon and locked in that gain, so that trade's closed, no position in Devon. Emerging markets we added as a 551W at the end of the day on this PSAR flip, and I want to show you the pattern that is coming from. We talked about this yesterday. So in a 551W, you go back 25 days, which is like, let's see, that's 30, 29, 28, 27, 65. So here's the price 25 days ago. And so that's the 5-week move is positive. So that's good. You want a positive 5-week percentage. Okay, so that's good. And then you want a that's 5W. And then a 5-day, you go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the high of the day, actually, we'll go close to close. So close to close is down. So there's your pullback that creates the investable momentum to recover. That's sort of it creates the buy on dip. So 551W, check, check. Then we look at the 1, and what we're looking for is a white candle. So it opened here and closed there. So there's 1 day of momentum, check. And then the Williams percent R, what we're looking for is below the 50-yard line, and it's at minus 66. And that just means that there's a couple, there's just back up to the 10-day high. There's still room for this to be favorable compared to the size of the risk. And that's calculated off using the full day's range as the mechanical risk. So what I do is about 5 minutes before the close, I look to see if there's any that I want to hold because they're closing favorably, and that was one. Emerging markets, as you can see, were just dominating the U.S., and this felt like a sell-off, but already intraday, 1-day momentum. So I'm buying this one for tomorrow's momentum. So then when we look at that on the 30-minute for reference, that gives us this kind of pattern at the take it at the PSAR hit right there, and I'm just using the bottom of the dragon for position sizing. Then I'm going to leave that in place and let this thing try to make some gains tomorrow. If you were using the full range, like if you were using end-of-day data and you wanted a mechanical entry, you could be long from here. Okay. So, or I mean, you would have your stop here at the bottom of the range, and that's how that goes. Where's my clear? So that was emerging markets on 30 minutes is essentially a 551W with an entry on the PSAR flip. Ethereum, we are just stalking that one. No trade on it. EWW, just stalking it. We exited. No, I'm sorry. We were short from yesterday. My bad. Let me read my own chart here. Yep. EWW, we are short. We had this one position long, two positions long, exited here, and then when it went from fall to winter, yesterday we got short with a risk to the PSAR dots, and it closed nicely yesterday. Basically just went sideways today, so we're just going to keep our stop in place at the peak, and we're looking for this to continue to fail. Brazil, this one also got short yesterday. Today there was a gap up. When the RL10 joined, we exited this one for -1 and then stopped and reversed, and using a slightly wider stop to the bottom of the RL10. So there's our risk box. We're long EWZ. I'd like to see this thing get north of that 10-day and 30-day high. I look at that as a buy on dip. Real estate, IYR. Yesterday we exited to preserve this gain, and today it gapped down and then started to take off. That's been such a strong sector, we're long, and I'm using the risk box to the bottom of the dragon, and going to leave that in place for tomorrow. McDonald's, we got long today. This is today open. It was a big gap opening down. This looks like the morning hook, and it was closing well, and the market was getting stronger. So we took a standard risk box at the same level that this one paid us. It seemed to be holding here at the 5-day or 10-day low. So ventured into the SSC, and you can see the reward to risk is pretty nice. Now, I talked about this one yesterday, and we bought the PSAR. So this had been a terrible Godzilla. We cashed here. We stopped in reverse with the SSC, made a fraction, about 1R. It closed well 2 days ago. Today, it opened and then took out the PSAR, and I was ready to play this one as a COTA 2 with the standard risk box. That's the same size box as this one. And then got this gift late in the day. This in the last hour it went to here, then this ran all the way to the top and then started coming down, and I just in good conscience could not let 4R slip away. I mean, if it had taken all week, to get back to this support level and then caused me to exit, I'd have been very happy. And now to get that in 1 hour and already given back one piece. So this was a swing trade on 30 minutes that turned out to be a 1 day turbo all by itself. But that's definitely in play, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I wanted to cash that. Today we just got out of the clean energy PBW short. We had cashed this little trade, stopped and reversed here. Today it gave a 1, 2, 3, hit the PSAR, and this was like a no lose plus dinner for two. So we cashed a small gain and are out of that position. Treasuries, I just can't get out of my own way on this one. I had a long position on this one, sort of as a hedge against market weakness. Had 1 day of gains, and it's done nothing but just be bad. But it PSAR flipped today and closed well. So my stop is still down here, just below the 5-day low. And we're just going to hold that one for a while and let it cook. Tesla, yesterday we cashed that gain. Today was a morning hook and closed well. I have no position in it, but I am stalking it. I think it's a nice intraday trade. I'm reluctant to swing trade that one. And then finally, U.S. Steel, our last little metal. Yesterday we cashed that swing on this much risk. Today, again, gap down, but then closed poorly. So no trade on that one. I'm very carefully thinking about an intraday trade tomorrow that's short at 28.25, with the idea that if it breaks below the dragon and the RL10, it could get down to the 10-day low easily. I think the turbo trade may be there tomorrow as like a COTA 2. So I'm ready to trade this one as a compound critical state. The metals have been behaving very well, and U.S. Steel is one of our standard traders there. So that's the swing update. Added a couple new symbols today, Alcoa and emerging markets. All right, swing trade of the day. Excuse me. This is Alcoa. This was what started off as the turbo trade that we ended up holding as a swing trade. So here was yesterday's close, and this is the OR3 in blue. That's that opening range 3-minute candle. And this one bottom ticked me here. Got me short. Then it immediately started to reverse. There's my standard risk box. And we ended up taking minus 1R. I think that was a poor exit. I should have been out here. But we're still taking 1R loss. It was slightly less than that, but that's the 1R loss. That is a stop and reverse on an SSC. That is a 2R battle drill second entry. Now I want you to notice we're holding firm here. The RL10 did not breach the PSAR, but here it did. So we're out on the R, and this is like a double top in the R10. There's your PSAR flip, so we're out here. This one earns about 0.5. This one is about 1, 2.5. So total net on that one about 3R. Caught a 2 re-entry. Standard exit at about 2 more R. Very orderly. That is a supported fall crossing. Standard entry, standard risk box, standard loss. Caught a 2, stop and reverse. Grinding along. Exit at about plus 2R. That's the decision I made at the end of the day to keep a swing piece on this one. We'd made some nice money on that one, and so we've added Alcoa to the swing trade portfolio. Ready? Let's try to get this. We'll check the traders today. So Kyun has had a few weeks off. Over trading, feels like. So Cliff. Here's an OR3 entry. Gets paid for 0.3. I like it. I like the re-entry. I think this is premature because you're not even close to a 2R battle drill. Unless, I'm sorry, he was looking for that as the ideal entry. The entry he got was this one. And then that began to fail, so he cuts it quick. No, he should have cut it quick, but he let it fail all the way to here for minus 0.6. So a couple errors on that one. Late entry and staying over long. Stop and reverse here. Reasonable exit. He tries to front run the Kata 2. And this is already so choppy, I don't like that one. Takes the quick noise loss. Could have been short here. If so, he would have not lost that piece. This is the indicated entry. He, again, twice late on the so you're over trading here. I like stopping to get in the zero state. This whole move is generally down, so that little PSAR break is worthwhile. So is that one as short positions and should be exiting here. So just getting back into the water, paddling around a little bit. We'll tighten that up. This is Constantine, our prop trader. His score for January. Pardon me. 10 losers, 23 winners for something like 87 or 83% win rate. Average win 1.4. You can see that he's got 3-1. Average winner to average loser is 3-1. He had 3 losing days early in January. And let's see, 7, 10. So 3 down days, 11 winning days. And was up a little over plus 5% for the week on standard risk. as my brother says, yeah, Kyun is doing the work and should be praised for that by putting out his charts for review. That's how you get better, by the way, is just getting it out there and learning from it. So this is Kyun's, or I'm sorry, Constantine's equity curve, looking pretty solid. This is Nolan continuing to work on the Kata 2 challenge. This one um, with Tesla. Here was the OR3. Tried to enter here, gets a late fill. It runs up and comes back, so he cashes 0.5. Good job. He tries the rebound. It fails immediately for minus zero point 0.4. And then rebounds again, takes out the PSAR, gets paid +1. Look how volatile that rascal is. I don't blame you for not trading this chop. This one was tempting. Takes a quick 1 hour loss. Keeps firing. Takes a plus 1.5. This was a reasonable weight on the reversal. A nice quick exit, stop and reverse essentially gets paid. Now notice that his rebound trades, that's 3 times the size of the loser. This is 3-2 winners to losers. Not in the zero state, so he recognizes and cuts it, although that could have paid. I like this short. I love the quick exit. Here's a Kata 2 quick exit, 1.5 for the day. I don't think it's too busy, to be honest. I mean, unless you felt you were not in the zero state. But it doesn't, there's no evidence on there that you were out of the zero state significantly. Here's Agnieszka on the 5 minutes on Tesla. Look at the size of that first bar. Boy, is that thing in play. That's a morning hook. She plays the breakout, takes the 0.6 loss. PSAR flip, refires, gets 1.1 in return to pay for that. Tries this next one, quick scratch, 0.2 for the day. I'm not sure that's correct unless I'm missing a trade in here somewhere. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Minus 0.6 and 0.3. Okay. Versus 1.1. So net positive for Tesla. She does better with U.S. Canadian dollar, takes the quick loss. A second quick loss, stop and reverse, pays for everything. A scratch and then gets paid 1.8. Found the mover after all. I would take a look at this one. After this choppy behavior, somewhere in here you might be able to get a second position. Or on, I don't know, 1.7. That's a little too early even. Yeah, I like the way you traded that on 5 minutes. That's pretty good. Finally, my brother has Walmart. He's got the standard sniper entry on the 10-minute. Risk box to here, the bottom of the dragon. Plots his 2R battle drill entry. Gets paid immediately, and it closed so well, along with strength in the market, that he is going to hold this one overnight with a nice wide stop, and he's got some markets money to play with. So nice work there. We will shift to the reports. Dashboard number 1. Today's positive gains. We are back into bullish quiet. That's a double plus good. We're 3% above the 200-day moving average. Volatility is risk on and favorable. Diamonds, Microsoft, Boeing, all looking good as min pains. And I think for my brother, I think you may have tapped into a nice rebound in Walmart. There's still a favorable swing on that one, and that's worth a shot. Dow Tactical Summary. No breakouts today. Had we have plenty of auto framers looking good. Come on. ETFs, a couple auto framers here in emerging markets, and that's kind of and the 551W. That's what led me to taking that position at the close. Utilities also on a auto framer. The globals tended to lag, with the exception of Brazil. So this is kind of a return to joy here on the U.S. You got Russell, mid caps, and materials all doing pretty well. So this might be a shift back to the U.S. We'll see. Standard numbers on the auto framer and the squeezes. No Godzillas for the sniper team. Got a handful of double greens here on the 1-day movers. AOS and DOV both with large 1-day and 5-day moves, as does international paper. It doesn't get much better than international paper. I mean, you got 0.81 on the 150-day look back, 0.99 on the 30 and the 10-day, and it's expanding with volatility. That's worthy of a look. So we're going to shift to the S&P 500 real quick. Go take a look at IP. Yeah, I'd say so, 10% today. Nice earnings. Boy, there's a lot of room in IP. Look at that over the last 3 to 5 years. Here's our 150-day look. Sweet. There's still a little bit of follow through available on this one to the 150-day high, and if that breaks, look out above. There's plenty of room for IP to have a nice run. Return to the industrial. The industrial should start looking pretty good. Inside our tactical set, no double greens, although Tesla has the biggest volatility on the 5-day. No surprise there. Still being dominated by the summer and the fall. That's everything, north of the zero line on the MACD. So that's actually pretty favorable. Some pretty good strength here among the leaders, Cisco and Goldman. XLB, materials, finance, and mid caps looking strong. Our trading value proposition here, we're looking for large range percentage on average and high frog quality numbers. You multiply those two, you get the trading value ratio, and then we rank that from highest to lowest, and then to show the top 20. Tesla, that should read clean energy, Ethereum, Apple, oil. All right, that's everything we want to cover for today. We'll get this published and posted and be ready for them tomorrow.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
I was just looking at Boeing.
Yeah.
If that gets above 220, I
Yeah, I
think that,
mean the war drums are certainly beating that, and that would bode well for it. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, that's sort of a fireworks.
yeah, it's
It's
ready to,
running into the problem it'll have is it's running into a ton of resistance
yeah,
right there. However,
but it's almost there.
this was not at a world at war,
Yeah,
and the only problem is that Republicans are talking hard about trimming defense. So that's a crapshoot right here. If it doesn't follow through, then profit
yeah.
preservation could see it come all the way down to the 30-day low. I think this hump right here holds support. But yeah, I think you could trade that on the 30-minute and look for breakouts carefully. It's already pretty richly valued.
Yeah, I would look for the K2 there.
Yeah, let's
Maybe
see.
we'll put Griff on that. Let him guide us.
Yeah, see, that's one where if you're stalking that one, you like seeing these higher
Yeah,
lows.
yeah,
This was an orderly sell-off, so now the breakout from the PSAR box, that's really where you wanted to be long was
yep,
yesterday, and then you got nothing but goodness here. If it gets above this, yeah, maybe 215, I could see that as a continuation, but again, that's already pretty richly valued.
yeah.
I wanted to look at your Walmart on the longer term.
Yeah, I think it's still, when it moved up, yesterday it was 13 to 1. Now it's still 5.
Yeah.
And it was a .7 volatility today on a pretty, it was still pretty quiet.
If I
But
zoom that out a little bit more, yeah, you're in good shape there.
I think it's ready to,
Yeah.
it could go,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, I mean all of the staples have been beaten down, and
Yeah.
but this was failure to fail. So in the long run, that could even be a COTA two.
Yep.
And then you get
Yeah.
confirmation when it's above about 148. So
Yeah.
you're front running that move a little bit, but if it breaks above 148, it should really go, because then the next move is up here to 155. So that's
Yep.
a grinder. I think that's a good value play that you're in. You got a
Yeah.
good price. Just don't try to overtrade that.
No.
Let it
No.
grind.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right. Peace out.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.